Thank you. Well, thanks very much for inviting us along to be a part of today. I mean, workplace wellbeing is very much important and at sort of the heart of everything that we do, certainly in the past and now so more so now in the future. Rita's given a bit of an overview on who we are, and thank you for that. The point of the reason or the message for our presentation today is to take you through some thoughts and on connection between workplace wellbeing and work performance. The connection between the workplace wellbeing and performance. So we've continued to live through these challenging times, and we're experiencing it from our own perspective, working in our own teams, but also as we carry out our lives and learnings through supporting our customers and their interactions with us. It's an evolving picture, and the way we do business continues to evolve. The way we work has and will be continually challenging, and this does and will continue to impact on our productivity. The changes to the work environment over the last few months have created a new reality for today's organisations. Workplace wellbeing was a common and understood phrase pre-COVID-19, and it takes on a whole different meaning, certainly from our current experience as things continue to evolve around us. And so the last 6 months, I'm going to talk about two 6 months. The last one that we've experienced and the next one that we'll yet to experience, but we kind of know the sort of path that we're on from the journey we've begun. The workplace wellbeing part of our current setups in teams, in our workplace where we choose to work, continues to evolve at a pace, and how and where we work is something that's changing from hybrid systems, from the best of both, working some days in the office, some days at home. Supporting both areas and both environments does have its own challenges and can impact productivity from a physical point of view to a mental point of view. Now we've been supporting people in their workplace reassessments working from home, and we continue to help people in evolving how their workplaces are set up safely and responsibly. Probably, I'd say certainly now more than ever, some people might recognize this as a bit of an image from the Matrix, but we are plugged into the Matrix, certainly at this moment in time today and other times where we're working distantly, and the flexibility of working has changed. The remote working obviously has increased, longer hours, heavier workloads, people putting in really long shifts working from home, just probably more, not discriminating the workplace to working from home, but I think there is an element of people working longer hours working from home because they feel like they cannot disconnect from their devices, perhaps because they always need to be reachable. And so by doing that and carrying out those duties and tasks, we are increasing our sedentary behaviour. The average person sits 7 hours a day, and that's average. And there's a lot more people sat for a lot longer periods of time, people eating al desco and just not taking the breaks that they need to encourage and incorporate movement and mobility into their days. In the office, you move around a little bit more than you do at home. I know and appreciate some people on the screens today watching will probably have got this pretty well locked down from their point of view and doing it better and better all the time. But if working from home is going to still be continually necessary, most workers don't have and haven't perhaps still got, in the true sense of the word, a home working office. So we've had makeshift offices, and these remain present issues for working from home employees. And 54% of working from home employees don't and still possibly don't have dedicated space. So the ones that potentially have got a setup at home may have worked remotely from time to time, not full time. I know there's a lot of people that do work from home and have worked from home full time, and we can learn from them and certainly experiencing from them in order to sort of encourage and support the well-being element of sharing that best practice and good advice. An inefficient setup could lead to repetitive strain injuries, back or neck issues, and you will want to consider ergonomics and efficiency and mobility as part of a working from home strategy, or certainly a well-being strategy. We're continually connected, we're always on, and certainly from my point of view, you really only properly switch off when you sleep, and sometimes it's hard to get to sleep if you haven't had the mobility and the movement in your day. I know that's the advice I get from my smartwatch saying you've not moved enough today. or your heart rate has dipped today because you did do a little bit more exercise. So we know that exercise and movement definitely impacts on our sleeping patterns and our headspace and how we think and live and work. And the balance of the blurring work-life balance continues. So some stats we shared on our previous Bio 2020 continue to be present alarm bells, and these are going to get continually worse if we don't put time and attention to what really matters. We sit for too long periods of time without moving, and it's an increasing problem for obesity, and a good number of people are unfortunately putting weight down through lockdown, working from home, not being able to exercise. Seen increasing inquiries for things like sit-stand workstations, treadmill desks, and things that people have just gone absolutely mad for, which is good for business. It doesn't replace what was there for us previously, but we're trying to understand and support people in how they wish they want, how and well and how they wish to work. The slide to the right is sorry, the picture to the right. It reminds us that if we don't encourage the right mobility to the way we work now, we will have severe problems, because by 2030, we've got 30% of the population will be over 55, and those problems will play out in our older society. So the way and how we work impacts our productivity, and certainly from a wellbeing program, incorporating ergonomics and best practices in your working environment helps employees improve morale and productivity. When employees are less fatigued, they're able to work without discomfort, and they're able to be more productive, more alert, and happier overall. And certainly we need to reassess that understanding, working certainly with teams remotely, that we can't always walk through the office and see exactly how people are set up, so the sort of red flags aren't as obvious. We always look for supporting the zones to ensure that people are looking at the prevention of back tension, zone 1, zone 2, avoiding wrist pressure, avoiding the neck strain by being sat at a desk leaned over a device and not having the right productive setup to support a good working day, and again in reducing the inactivity, which I've alluded to a few times. The sort of suggestions that the ergonomists recommend when working in an office or at home from an ergonomics perspective on wellbeing, we suggest a chair adjustment so employees' thighs are parallel to the floor, feet should be flat on the floor or on a footrest, knees should not touch the seat pan and should be a couple of finger measurements behind your knee, not in touch with the waterfall front seat, so enough distance there to encourage blood flow when being sat. And then look at the employee's chair with potentially looking at backrest if it doesn't already support with a lumbar support, and provide obviously employees with relief from any of those tension areas. Leading into something that looks a little bit like a picture from the 1980s show Blockbuster. The examples shown here represent a hive of solutions to consider for anyone and everyone in wanting solutions to support their activity. The number of these new zones, these zones include new products that have antimicrobial elements, so that the antimicrobial products that we now have available within these zones help kill or slow the spread of microorganisms. So wellness now and in the future, and looking ahead, ergonomics will remain part of a core workplace wellness program. And as things become more normal in a present state of mind, we know that certainly from the messages that we are given from the government and the best guidance and health and safety, that certainly social distancing is something that we should respect and remind ourselves of, because in an environment such as a workplace where you feel safe, those kind of barriers may drop a little bit and we feel a little bit more relaxed around others. So we need to make sure the standards that we uphold, we maintain and lead by example. And if we haven't already started to reassess our plans and requirements for the future, it's time to review how our remote workers and ergonomics stack up. So most businesses have dealt with an immediate challenges requiring the provision of minimum of set of tools and working from home products such as laptops, mouse pads, mouse rests, wrist rests, and advanced cases and additional monitor. While these pieces of equipment can get staff up and running, there is more that can be done to improve employee productivity with home office equipment. We, in our workplaces, need to continue to maintain safe and practical, clean working environments. This is something that's going to have increased focus, and providing the right safety measures and peace of mind and confidence to have that productivity level, because people are feeling safe, happy, and protected in their workplace. This is something that, from the pandemic, we know that this has changed the world in which we work in, and the plan, the A plan or the B plan, sometimes the plans and the measures that you can put into place. We understand there's an urgency that we need to protect ourselves, perhaps more than we're already doing. Looking at the studies of the fact that the virus is airborne, and that the air that we breathe is potentially could be problematic in a workspace, to facilitate the health and well-being of those employees within that workspace, even with social distancing measures in place and hand sanitizing and clean surfaces. A safe and clean, healthy environment is good for morale, well-being, and performance. And we've got a sort of a triangular effect or approach to ensuring that all of those things are maintained and supported, not just in our workplace, but supporting customers, businesses, employers and employees in their establishments, in creating that sort of triangular protection message of hand sanitizing, cleaning your hands more often, clean worktops, and now air purification systems is the sort of third element to that sort of protection triangle that we see as a help, a solution, and also a confidence piece to productivity in workplaces as people return and are able to return to their workplace. 90% of the air that we breathe is polluted, and some stats that certainly alarmed me when I really looked into this recently. We know that we have to intake water to support our well-being. We have to take in food to support our well-being, and obviously depending on what we eat depends on how much we consume. But the average person would normally consume what you see on the screen, and the most alarming thing, without taking it for granted, is the air that we breathe. 10,800 litres of air per day consumed, and then re-exerted into a workplace or a space or a shared space. I have a few examples here for considerations in our daily lives. So the elements that you see, the germs and viruses. At the moment, we've got cold and flu viruses out in the air as well. Children with colds and adults with colds and coughs. The quick decisions for people at the moment is, what is it? I better stay at home. I better self-isolate. I better do the right thing. But probably a good proportion of it is colds, coughs, and just common viruses that get picked up in the spaces and places that we are, from home to school to work, and back again. So by incorporating purification systems into your headspace for the future, I think that we would certainly be able to eliminate some of the things that are on here, or certainly protect ourselves more. So it doesn't say that it would eliminate or protect us completely from COVID, but it is, again, certainly a supporting element that the research that people have done is that the virus is a similar size to the flu virus. Therefore, air purification systems of a certain grade and standard would play their part in giving us that sort of protection triangle that we're looking for in incorporating safe practices for well-being, and again, we're looking after your well-being. You're ultimately looking after your productivity and your interests in not just people, but in your business. My presentation, just mentioning the fact that that gives peace of mind to some people above and beyond what we have been going through to support businesses in their workplaces, and just get people safely moving around, socially distanced, clean, and set up, and appropriately working from home wherever possible. We are here to help.
Fantastic, thank you. So, I mean, how much learning have you had to do, Darren, as a business, and changing what you do? I mean, you've had to transform your business significantly, from selling boxes of photocopy paper to rubber gloves and sanitizer.
It's been a tough paper round, but I'm certainly learning very quickly and sharing as much as we can with the team. And just well, basically, there's a lot of people that have to step up, and we're one of them because of our relevance, as you guys have done in stepping up, doing all of this. It's we all play our part in a community, and there's a wider picture. And I think as part of a jigsaw puzzle, we have to sometimes go out and find the pieces what is going to make a better picture, and deliver on that.
Do you see your business? I mean, obviously, you know, the uncertainty of all of this situation is what's hanging over all of us. But you've adjusted for the long haul, or do you still need to find new channels of revenue, or is this your business now?
Yeah, I mean, this is sort of our frontline business right now. This where and how we support businesses, and just getting an understanding, because it is a bit of a moving picture. Lots of conversations go from we've got everything now where we want it, and then something changes and their plans change, which impact us. We don't have any kind of what I would class as reoccurring contracted business. It's all on good service, good name, good representation of what we do, and positioning ourselves. We have to be relevant for the audience. We have to be relevant for people and businesses in functioning safely, soundly, responsibly. I mean, we will look as much as possible to support people in their digital and document solutions, because clearly document solutions digitally is something very different to passing paper around the office, and certainly lots of businesses have already adopted good digital ways of working. Difficult to replace the stationary cupboard, so we're having to look and wanting and needing to. We were already on part of that journey with ergonomics and workplace wellbeing. I mean, workplace wellbeing has been a key feature of ours, probably certainly more progressive. Progressive. It's certainly been a feature for the last sort of 4 or 5 years, and you know, you've helped us with that as well in distributing that message and getting that message out there. It's, you know, it's key to our existence.
Fantastic. I was just wondering, if you've got, if you're suffering right now, you're working from home and you've got a bad back, how can people find out about some of these ergonomic solutions?
We've got on our landing page of our website, we've got some top tips on reassessing your setup. So you may even have the kit at home and just not know how to use it. And that's something that we found multiple times over, that most people have a reasonable chair. Some people don't even sit on a proper chair, which is obviously something they need to reassess and rethink. But when you have got the equipment, sometimes you just don't use it properly. So we do give some guidance on helping people understand how to make the best of what they've already got. And if we feel and they feel that agreeably that there's some improvements that could be made, then that's where we might be able to help. And we have a furniture showroom in Witney, which is available by appointment only at the moment. My brother Craig is our sort of head of furniture, and he's been in the business 20 years, and he's learning as quickly as I am on all the things that go with trying to support people in being set up more productively. The amount of people that have rung in and said, I need to reassess my needs. We are here to sort of understand what those requirements are. It's one-to-one, it's consultative, it's not online. So we chat things through, really. We just try to qualify what's required.